Good evening and welcome to the stream. Tonight I'm going to be playing Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and I'm going to be flying from Frankfurt and been trying to learn how to do ILS approaches in the Cessna Citation for a while, and I think I finally have it down. One of the key things I was missing is that you need to actually manage the throttle. There's no auto throttle at all. I previously had only used the Airbus, so I was very used to having that auto throttle and practically an auto land. I'm starting off at Frankfurt. I am starting at parking, so the airplane's going to be totally cold, and I'll have to turn it on, taxi to the runway, take off, flying southeast to Munich. And I don't know why it did this, but it gave me a really crazy approach pattern here. But regardless, I will be doing an ILS landing into runway 8 left and taxiing to parking. Runway to runway, we have 26 minutes, so it's pretty short, but definitely, enough to give me a good practice with the autopilot system. Hit the starter. Watch for the N2. There's 20. Hit run. Flip both of these guards. Closed.
Frankfurt ground, Cessna November 75649er requesting pushback. Cessna November 75649er taxi to and hold short at runway 18 by taxiway Sierra 100011 Romeo 15 cross runway 7 right, Mike 25 Mike Yankee 1 Yankee November. Contact tower on 118.78 when ready.
Did you get all that? Nice rabbit right there. Very cool. Headed toward 8,000. Going to be rolling out to the left, it appears. Get off the center line. And here we go. 40%, let it stabilize. Takeoff speed. V1 comes up really quick in this plane. And rotate. Positive rate. Gear up.
Cessna 649er, contact center on 127.6.
127.6 for Cessna 649er.
Autopilot on.
Center Cessna November 75649er is at 1,800 feet, climbing 8,000 feet. Cessna November 75649er center, continue to move them as planned. Altimeter tree, 0.0 tree.
FLC on, that'll bring me to the 8,000 and level me off.
14,000 feet.
What is that? ITT? Oh, I was overpowered.
Climb and maintain 14,000 feet, Cessna 649er.
Okay, they want me to head to 14. I'm going to go ahead and engage nav mode. It'll start me banking toward our flight plan. Half bank is on, which we want. And I'll get that altitude in. Oops. Do it here. Oops. $14,000 dialed in. FLC mode on. So that'll bring me up to 14. Speed is holding. Flaps again. Flaps are up. Everything's good. Can't see anything. Okay, still climbing. Climbing very quickly toward that 14. Let me turn on the flight director so we can see what we're doing. No airspeed. That's gonna be a pitot problem. I don't know what this warning means. I'm gonna have to ignore it because that's, yeah. I need the pitot heat on just to get an airspeed indication, so that's obviously what I have to do. Engine only, I don't know what that means. This says wing engine, so engine's included in this de-icer, I guess. I'm not sure, that's kind of weird. Makes me a little nervous. I'll shut that warning off. And this is an incredibly overcast condition. And that's it. It was about 45 minutes to the airport. And we're just kind of sitting at this point. And there we go, right out of the clouds. Overspeed, or not overspeed, but too hot on the engines. Into the clouds a little, but we'll get above. That's just so beautiful. I can't get over it. I'm actually glad I grew up at a time when no games looked like this. I mean, my first flight sim was Flight Unlimited 2. It was just so basic. Makes me appreciate. I can actually look back at my wing here, and I do see ice on it, which I don't love to see. Very beautiful. I love the they have a really soft texture. My only issue is that sometimes if you zoom in, you can kind of see it's like this mesh thing going on. But I wonder if I'm hopefully going to upgrade my GPU like this month after Christmas, and I'm hoping that could even help those clouds a little bit more. That's kind of an ironic thing to say after just complimenting the graphics so much, but just always need that little bit more. And look at that, it is just so beautiful. So yeah, since we're kind of toward the middle of the flight, I'm going to go back into showcase mode and the drone camera. I'm just going to drop down and see what we can see toward the ground. Very thick clouds. This is a perfect ILS approach. And there we are. Just beautiful. Look at that pastoral German countryside right there. So different from the US. You fly over and everything's a grid. Pretty much, I think most places in Europe where there's agriculture, it's just this kind of modeled, random-ish pattern. seems like a lot of ice on the leading edge. Is that just what happens at cruise altitude? I really don't know. Let me just look at the weather, what that looks like. There's terrain. Ooh, weather looks terrible. But at least I'm not over here, I guess. Or is that just the... That kind of looks like a Doppler effect thing. It's basically what's behind me is the bad stuff. I'm not sure on that. So basically, once I get through the, which one is it? It's gonna be, I think it's this decel, and I'm coming toward the runway. At that point, I will switch to my localizer, Loc 1, and I will turn on approach mode, and still have to, you know, manually throttle to make sure I have enough speed or am bleeding off speed enough, but that should lock in the glide slope and pretty much bring me right to the runway. I will try to not disengage autopilot until I'm above the threshold, and then it should be an extremely smooth landing. Oh, interesting. I actually didn't know that the citation gear did not, they weren't enclosed, they just kind of sit there. I don't want to botch this landing, that's for sure. There's my spoilers out. Or my speed brakes, rather. Goodbye, blue sky. Back down into the muck.
November 75649er approach continue to make it as planned. Altimeter tree 0.01.
There's my altimeter. 3001, check. It's kind of cool. I'm between two cloud layers right here. It's pretty realistic. I think I can actually... Yeah, I think I can see the ground through there, so maybe this won't be quite as ILS as I had hoped, but it's okay. Still can prove that I can do it. I'm still committed to not touching anything until I'm above the threshold. I got my localizer bugs there, so I think, well, let me get down to 5,000. One thing at a time. Now I'm totally in the soup, and I can see the ground, so it's not quite totally ILS, but what are you gonna do? I mean, I could change the weather, but I don't really want to. I could make it, here, why don't I make it a little darker at least? Not totally dark. I'd like to be able to see a little. Oh, I'm already out of it. Never mind. Okay, so here we come. Ready or not. I don't see an airport out there. And we're actually below our glide slope, it appears, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to localizer 1 and hit approach mode. And I think I'll go ahead and...
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Okay. You can't do flaps without... You can't do a degree of flaps without landing gear, so I'll do both. That's fine. I'm below glide slope, so I'm gonna throttle up. Looks like I don't have the glide slope lock yet. And unfortunately I'm way below my target altitude, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Switch FLC back
Cessna
on.
649er, you are 14 miles west of Munich. Contact tower on 118.705 when inbound.
Tower on 118.705 Cessna 649er. Tower Cessna November 75 649er 13 miles west inbound ILS runway 8 left approach.
Well, it's pretty obvious where I'm going.
649er tower. Cleared ILS runway 8 left approach. Altimetry 0.03 wind 048 at 8. Cleared ILS runway 8 left approach Cessna 649er.
Fuel low. Oh crap, are you serious? How low? That's horrifying. Where's my fuel indicator? I actually don't know. Oh my god, that is horrifying. They didn't give me enough gas to make it.
Cessna 649er, cleared to land runway 8 left. Wind 048 at 8.
Okay, well, regardless, I
Cleared to land runway 8 left Cessna 649er.
turned off FLC, approach mode is still on, and I'm right on my bugs, so I think I'm good. This is way too close. That's really scary. I think I just lost my engines. I cannot believe this is happening. I swear I did not plan this. Oh my gosh. This is nuts. I don't know if I'm gonna make it or not. I'm not gonna hit another level of flaps though, that's for sure. Oh, I should bring mine up right now. Hold up. I cannot believe this is happening after all this. Yeah, this is not looking good. Autopilot's off. Completely without power. I cannot believe this has happened. And I know there's a menu up top, and I could add fuel real quick, but my engines are off already. And I actually might make it. Oh, I'm losing speed. See the rabbit right there. Look at that beautiful fog. This would have been
500.
an incredibly beautiful landing if not for that. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Slightly high, that's good. Dropping flaps because ooh, the flaps won't run. Okay, I'm landing without flaps, I guess. I'm so glad I'm streaming this, honestly. This is just amazing. And that's it. Now the real question is, can I get it off the runway? Just coasting.
Cessna 649er exit runway when able. Cessna 649er contact ground on 121.9er tree. 121.9er tree Cessna 649er.
I don't think my brakes are working. My brakes are not working. Oh man. I just landed and exited the runway with no working brakes. What is the emergency procedure for this? I have no idea. I mean, I'm slow enough, I'm not going to crash at this point, but it's still crazy. We'll secure the aircraft.
Oral warning, okay.
Wonder if I can. Is there a way to declare an emergency? No. Be kind of useful. Okay, avionics off. Battery off. Generators off. Parking brake set. That's it. That's my flight right there. That is... I mean, that's... I don't know how to, like... That's crazy. I don't know if anybody would believe that that wasn't planned, but I swear that was not at all planned. It's weird that they wouldn't have fueled up my plane enough to actually make it. I mean, it wasn't even close. There should have been tons of extra fuel by the time I landed, but I was literally... I mean, I couldn't have planned that anyway. There's no way I could have actually planned that, because I would have to do, you know, fuel burn calculations. I would have had to know the weather and the wind. Like, there's no way that I could have planned that. That just happened. And I got it all on straight. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. That was just a really exciting one right there. What is this guy doing? Oh my gosh. We got a maniac here. Yeah, flight sim, very realistic. Oh, and he just quit. Anyway, I'm totally in awe of what just happened there. That'll never happen again in a million years, I don't think. I mean, I literally made an entire flight. Got to the approach, and just another thing to keep in mind is, like, I descended at 0 throttle for a long time. If I had not done that, if I had kept the throttle up, I wouldn't have made it. You know, I ran out of fuel at the exact moment that made a dead stick landing possible. I nailed the landing, if I may say so, and I had just enough momentum to exit the runway, thinking my brakes were working, which they weren't, and not too much momentum that I just flew off into the grass somewhere. I don't know, like, I'm not a miracles guy, but that was a miracle. You've heard of the miracle on the Hudson? Well, this is going to be the miracle of Munich, right here. I'm not going to be able to sleep. Well, if you watched, I hope you enjoyed that even a fraction as much as I did. Yeah, whether or not you enjoyed, I hope you have a wonderful evening.